Hello comic book fans, here's Earl Grey. Today I want to show you my very recent, very last acquisition, and this is the Golden Age omnibus from Batman Volume 1. Very colorful, nice sleeve. Spine. And the book contains Detective Comics 27 to 56, Batman 1 to 7, New York World's Fair Comics 2, World's Best Comics 1, and World's Finest Comics 2 and 3, with a foreword by Danny O'Neill. So, all that's included here is more or less the same as it was published in the first 4 Batman Chronicles. Volume 2 of the Chronicles I didn't get because it goes for insane prices on Amazon. So I have these books for a while, and in a thought to explain the urgent necessity to buy this book as well. My original plan was to sell these books on eBay because 1 to 4 it's the same as it's here. And if I can show you, there are some advantages to this form. But in the meantime, I have found some reasons to keep these books as well. At least maybe number 1. I'll show you. So, but first to the thing in itself, the new Golden Age omnibus. If you open it up and pull down the sleeve, you have the usual, a bit disappointing in this regard, black cardboard cover, just the embossing Batman the Golden Age Omnibus Volume 1, and on the side as well. But I like very probably every Batman fan in the world would have preferred a more colorful version of this. So this is a bit cheap, but all the other things in with these books are very satisfying. Especially one thing, like you all know, troubling me the most when it comes to DC books, as in particular, it's the binding. And this book has a sewn binding, and maybe I don't have these strong upper arms like some other omnibus collectors, but I think I can manage it pretty well. And you see the inner spine here separates from the outer spine, and the book really stays pretty flat. And throughout the book you have a very good, it's very readable, and there's no gutter loss at all anyway, because you have the Golden Age panels that aren't bleeding into the inner section here. But really, that's a very good binding, I guess, and it seems that this is pretty solid as well. So I'm very glad that this looks like it looks. Yes. So, and on the very first glance, you see that these reproductions of the comics are very colorful, and it's really a nice paper, not the thickest in the world, but absolutely sufficient. And the color pops, which is very important for me. If you think of Golden Age, you think of the bright primary and secondary colors. And that's neat. So, and here in front of the book, it's the table of contents, and it's made like it should be made, with page numbers and all, so that you can directly flip to the actual page where the story starts. In some collection it isn't, and you search till your fingers are bleeding until you find the issue you are looking for. The stories are sorted in chronological order, and that's very neat. So, comparing the omnibus version with the chronicles version of Batman 27, the very famous first Batman issue, I made some peculiar observations. First and foremost, the Golden Age omnibus is a bit bigger in size, but very minimal. There's a bit of recoloring going on, even though here you have in the omnibus violet, here it's a light blue. The color palette in the omnibus is a bit lighter, not so dark, and the color is more intense, more vibrant. That's good, I think. But if you're looking at some of the panels in the omnibus, some details look a bit overexposed, I think. And I didn't believe my eyes if I compared it to the Chronicle version. There are some of the facial features of Bruce Wayne are actually lost. It's almost like these riddles when you should compare to pictures to figure out the differences. But that's really, I think, not a minor thing here. And if you think of it, it's the first time Bruce Wayne shows up in Detective Comics, and that's why this comic is so important. And you have two different guys. Two different guys is maybe exaggerated, but I think it's quite interesting. And if you look at the jacket from Gordon, it looks overexposed. I don't know how to describe it otherwise. It's not throughout the book, fortunately. It's just here and there. I compared, when I figured out these differences, I started really to compare the stuff here. Some facial expressions are really different. If you look at him and him, it's almost like it's a copy of this drawing. So, and in the first story, there's a murder going on, and that's crazy. In the Chronicles version, this man runs here in and finds his father dead on the ground. And now the version of the omnibus. Do you see the difference? Here's the knife added. And I'm really curious if somebody can explain it when this knife has been added, because it seems so that originally it wasn't there. So, funny. Some panels further in the story, we have Bruce captured under this giant glass bottle of sorts, and this is the omnibus version, and this is the older Chronicles version, and again, some differences. First, the text is rearranged. I think this omnibus version is a bit better. And we have some additional inking going on here. These lines weren't there before, and here is some inking added as well in there. So, yeah, you can look on many panels like this and figure out the differences. But, and I did it for a good part of the book. But in the end and overall, I'm very pleased with the result. Maybe not in Detective 27 there. I think my Chronicle version is looks some kind better. But overall, there are some reproductions that are really top-notch now, and they weren't so good before. So whatever they did with re-inking, reshuffling, remixing the old stuff, it's obviously still very true to the original stories, and very fun to look at. Very nice book, very well made. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.